All right, guys. Hey, welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Andrew Wolfe, and today we're going to be talking about beautiful, beautiful Boulder, Colorado. And we've talked a lot on this channel about, what you're looking for, what Boulder's like, how it feels, and what are some real estate strategies. But of course, you're asking yourself, Andrew, how do I pay for this stuff, right? And so today we're going to be talking to Henry Russell, lender extraordinaire. I'm going to give him a few chances to introduce himself here, and we'll kind of get into some of your questions.
Yeah. Well, hey, first of all, thanks for having me on. I love talking about real estate, love talking about lending and Boulder. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's one of the best places in Colorado. I mean, who doesn't love Boulder? So if you're coming here, I understand why you're coming here, but let's see how we can get you into a home, right?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, this man's going to take really good care of you of finding a home. I'm going to find the money. All right. Let me tell you why that's funny, because my middle name is actually Cash.
That's right, baby.
Right?
Yeah.
I was named after Johnny Cash, but trust me, it's all about the cash, all right? It's all about the cash team. And I've been doing this now for 27 years. So I have some couple tips and tricks and things that we can do to help people get into houses, whether it's house hacking, whether you need bank statement loan, or maybe you're doing it as an investment. We have all kinds of really cool tools to help you out.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. And having strategies, I think, is the most important thing. So we're dealing with people today that are looking to buy in Boulder, Colorado, but even more is typically moving from out of state or certainly out of town. So when someone's relocating to a city, especially one like Boulder that has its challenges in buying, what is your best advice as a lender to help them get started off on the right foot?
Well, it depends. So, like, if you already own a home, right? Let's say you're not a first-time home buyer. You live in Missouri, you live in Florida, and you already have a home. We do have a bridge loan, right? And how that works is that we use the equity in your current home to buy this house in Boulder, and then we give you 6 months to sell your house back in your old state. All right. So what happens is that now you're not waiting to sell your house back there, or you don't have to worry about that being sold before you can buy your house here in Boulder. So that's one of the ways that we can get you into a home very, very quickly. That takes less than 30 days for us to do that. And now you have 6 months to sell that home back in your last state. Now, the cool thing about this is that the more time they have to sell that home back there, the more money they make. We've shown that you'll get 10% more because now you're not taking the first offer. Now you have time to have the house staged, have the house cleaned out, have all your stuff moved here to Boulder, and you're not worried about that house as much. So that's one really good tip for most of our clients. If you already own a home and you're relocating to Boulder, keep that home. We'll do a bridge loan. We'll get you into a house here in Boulder, and you get 6 months to sell that house back there.
That's right. And you're out here in Boulder, you're buying cash, baby.
Which holds a lot of leverage, right? Now, you, as a realtor, can tell them, cash rules everything around it. And if you can go in there with a cash offer, I mean, that's going to probably beat out the other offers that are there, right?
It's a huge leg up for sure. And I would say from a real estate perspective, or from a realtor perspective, I should say, one of the biggest piece of advice I always give my people is talk to your lender early, right? You're talking about different solutions, which is very, very important, and it can get kind of complex. You want to have an expert that you're talking to early.
Yes.
And then especially from out of state, when you're coming here from St. Louis, Missouri, and checking out Denver, Colorado, your time is very, very valuable. And hey, Cash is a great guy. If you're going to meet up with him, have a beer, have a great bite to eat, but you don't want to use that valuable time when you have boots on the ground here talking through some of these lender conversations when you have great opportunities to talk on the phone, to talk over Zoom, to get things done over email. So when you come out here, we're prepared.
Right.
Because if you come out here and haven't talked to Cash yet, and we're looking at houses, if we find your dream home, there's basically nothing we can do about it. Right. So we need to be ready to go on the drop of a hat to where we can make a good, strong offer, put you in your dream home as soon as possible.
Absolutely. We're doing a pre-approval. Obviously, that's the most important part of this process, right? Finding the house is great, but if you don't have the money to buy it, well, you might as well just be looking at Ferraris that you're never going to drive, right? So what we like to see is you do that pre-approval at least 30 days before you're looking, all right? Now, if you don't have 30 days, let's say it's 2 weeks. Let's say your company said, hey, you know what? We're moving you out there in a week. We can still get you pre-approved in less than 48 hours. However, we don't like to do that all the time if we don't have to, but if we need to, we can get you turned around in 48 hours. The most important part about that pre-approval is just ensuring we can confirm everything. We can confirm your employment. We can confirm your income. We can confirm your assets. And if we're doing a bridge loan, that 48-hour goes to 72 hours because now we've got 2 different companies that we're going to be talking to. But yes, that pre-approval can be done via Zoom. We can do it over the phone. So before you even get here, you can show up with that pre-approval letter and you guys can get out there on the road.
Nice. And while we're on the topic, let's just touch real quick because a lot of you guys know it probably. These are some pretty savvy folks we're talking to out
Yeah.
there on YouTube. But what is the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification?
That's a great question. So let's talk about it from the standpoint of documentation. All right.
Mhm.
So a pre-approval is a application that also is backed up with documentation. So if you put on your application that you make $5,000 a month, then your pay stubs will prove that you do.
Mhm.
If you say that you've got $50,000 in the bank, then your bank statements will prove that you do. If you say you've got a 780 FICO score, credit score, then your credit report will prove that you actually do. That's what a pre-approval is. It's your application with documentation that backs it up. Now, a pre-qualification is basically just your application. We haven't confirmed your income. We haven't confirmed your assets. We haven't confirmed your credit score. We might have done a soft pull or something like that. And so a pre-qualification is great to maybe get your mindset as to what you can afford. But a pre-approval is what we always recommend because now you know 100% sure that's what you're approved for. And when you're out looking for houses, you're not going to have to worry about something coming up later on that we can't use.
Right, and that's very important on the buyer side, but like you talked about, Henry, I think that a lot of our folks out here probably do have a home to sell,
Right.
in wherever they're moving from. So if we put on our seller's hat for a second,
Right.
we're going to feel much more comfortable looking at one of those pre-approved offers. We know that all this information is verified, it's all been corrected and ensured that they can really buy this house.
Correct.
So you can understand how that would put a lot of comfort into
Yes.
your mind as a seller when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
reviewing these offers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Henry, I know you got something special for us out there. So we talked a little beforehand. What are you guys cooking up the cash team that's going to really help out our buyers who are moving to Boulder?
Well, we have been through a kind of a crazy market this year,
Mm.
and we were kind of ticking down there for a while. I did videos about how the market was ticking down and all these great things. And unfortunately, right now, the market's not ticking down. It's ticking up a little bit. It's staying stagnant a little bit. So the cash team, as a way to mitigate some of these higher insurance rate or higher interest rates, what we're going to do is that we're going to give you a 1% temporary buy down. What is a 1% temporary buy down? What that is that your rate is whatever it is going to be. So let's say we lock you at 6%. Okay. Going rate right now is between 6 and 6.25, right, on a conventional loan. And so let's say we lock you in at 6%. What we're going to do with that temporary buy down is that we're going to buy your rate down to 5% for that first year.
Okay.
So you're going to have a 6% rate permanently, but for 1 year, you're going to have a 5% rate. In Boulder, with house prices being anywhere between $650 up to $1 million, you're looking at about a $400 savings on a monthly basis. And so the cash team is giving that to you as our gift of saying, welcome to Colorado. Welcome to Boulder. We're going to be running this through June 30th, okay? So for about another 45 days, you have the opportunity to have a payment that's on average going to be $400 less than what it normally is going to be. This gives you the opportunity to kind of ease in to all the things, because if you're coming from another state, you're going to find out things might be a little bit more. Your utilities might be a little bit more. Your gas may be a little bit more. There's going to be things that are going to, you're going to incur when you get here. And having that $400 off or $500 off a month is going to be very, very helpful to our clients. So that 1.0 temporary buy down is good through June 30th. And again, that's going to take 1% off your interest rate for the first 12 months.
And that's a great savings, guys. And obviously, it's great to have an extra $400 a month. I mean, that's almost $5,000 a year. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing.
But also, if you guys are considering maybe some of like the house hacking or investment style options that we're talking about, that covers almost every HOA in Boulder. Like, I mean, there's going to be some you can dig around and find more. Don't hold me to that. But I would say 350 is probably your average HOA. So it covers that for about a year. Right. And that doesn't preclude us, guys, from going out there as, your realtor and as your negotiator, go out there and try to secure maybe some more cash from the seller if it's appropriate. Try to maybe apply that to a further buy down, or just ease up your closing costs, right? So there's a lot of ways that we can work together that can make your experience a lot easier. And what I've kind of beat the drum on this channel so far, Henry, I know how much, I know you're an enduring fan, but I don't know how many hours of my channel you block, is that it's really important when people are making a move at all, but especially when they're moving from out of state, where you're getting used to a new environment, a new place to live, new people, to have a strong team when it comes to real estate.
Absolutely.
So Henry, I don't think of ourselves as your realtor and your lender. We think of yourselves as your team is going to help making the buying process out here as smooth and as easy as possible. Would you agree?
I would say so. I think that having a strong team is super important. I've been in the business now for 27 years.
Mhm.
I've done everything in this business that you could do. And I think that the most cohesive team makes the smoothest process, right? Now, I've been lucky enough to do some loans with this gentleman. I've been lucky enough to work with him in the past, and we know we work really well together. We work very parallel. Our main benefit, I believe, is efficiency, and we're going to always get you across the finish line. Doesn't matter what happens. There's little hiccups and things like that happen in a purchase, and some of you that have done them in the past, you'll know there's some horror stories out there. But I will tell you this, that with this team, we're going to get you across the finish line. And one of the other things that we always look at is we're going to always make sure that you save 2 months of payments, right? Because we're going to always close you either at the very beginning of the month so that you're going to have that month off, the next month off, and then the third month is when your payment's going to be due. So that's another significant saving. If you're paying, let's say, $4,200 a month, and I can save you 2 months, that's another $8,400 in your pocket. So that's one of the big things that Andrew and I always try to make sure of. He makes sure that he negotiates the right close of escrow date, and I make sure that we get your right starting date so that we can also save you another couple of months. So it's a big thing when you're talking about moving from another state.
Strategy, strategy, strategy. All right, Henry, before we get out here, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So we have a client. They're moving out here from St. Louis. They found their house. They were pre-approved. We got them under contract. We're going out to eat and celebrate in Boulder, Colorado. Where are we going?
Oh, goodness. Where are we going in Boulder, Colorado? That's a good question. Now, I have a couple of favorites, but one of my favorites has a rooftop, okay? And I'm a huge rooftop guy. I know we've talked about this in the past, but my favorites is Avanti. The reason why Avanti is my favorite is because it's on Pearl Street. So I've got a lot of other things that I can do before I get there. It's got 2 levels, and what it is it's a bunch of different restaurants in one building. So I think there's like 4 or 5 different little restaurants down below. There's about 3 restaurants up top. There's at least 50 televisions. So if there's a game on, you're definitely going to be able to see the game. But the views from the rooftop, you can see all of Boulder. You can see the Flatirons. You can see Pearl Street. You can really get a great grasp of what Boulder is all about. You can see the Boulder campus, which, it's been rated as the most beautiful campus, right?
It's hard to argue.
In the USA. And when you see it, you'll understand why they do that. So to answer your question succinctly, Avanti. That's my favorite.
I love it, guys. Well, hey, like I said, Henry's the man. He has a ton of knowledge about the lending side, a ton of local knowledge about Colorado and Boulder specifically, and he's the biggest foodie I know. So where can people follow you out there, Henry?
You know what? They can go directly to our website at cashteamhomes.com. You can also follow us on TikTok. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook, where we have pretty heavy presence there, and we do a lot of videos about things that you should know and mistakes that you could make and all those fun things. But also, like you said, I'm a huge foodie, so I do a lot of food reviews on there. So if you are coming here and you want to know all the places to go, the steakhouses, the Italian places, where to get the best tacos, hey, check out my social media. You'll see we've done some great reviews.
That's right, man. You'll be living like a local on day one. All right, guys. Like I've said before, I love making these videos for you guys. You're going to see more and more Henry on this channel. But we both love you more connecting with you guys in person. So both of our contact information, our phone numbers, our emails are going to be here and below. Reach out. Give us a call. We love to chat. If you leave any comment, I'll respond to every single one. So you guys have a great day. See you guys next time.
Hey, thanks for having me.